podcast. We are two sisters in fiber coming to you from the Canadian prairies, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. This is a knitting podcast. I'm Jocelyn. My co-host is
Diana.
And we never concisely discuss knitting and everything else that's going on in our lives, but Diana's going to let you know what we're going to cover this week anyway. I've given up. I know we don't. I video edit this thing. I know how long we babble.
Today we're going to babble about what's in our cup, woolly workings, yarn on the go, wool gathering, literature, and events. And if you think that sounds short, oh, just wait.
We were at a conventional weekend.
We'll find something to talk about.
Oh, yeah. My table is a mess in the background. You see that mess going on? I can't. I know it's there. Because I put that mess there.
I honestly hadn't noticed. And it's on this little screen over there, so I really can't see it.
That's fair. I'll notice it while I'm editing, and I'll be like, whatever. So much of my space just needs to be cleaned right now. It is what it is. All right, what's in your cup?
I have stolen some of your vanilla chai decaf from Stash.
Woohoo!
In the There's Always Time for Tea mug, because I like this mug.
That's fair.
It's like a half-liter mug. It's a mug.
Yeah, it's a serious mug. I don't generally do unserious mugs.
Wow, and that's still really hot because I just made that like 10 minutes ago. It might be drinkable in another 20.
Okay. In one of my two very large head-sized mugs that are Christmas themed, I have some peppermint tea from Stash.
It's a Stash day.
Oh, there's just something about a summer day after you've had food that's just mint tea in my mind.
I put some scotch in my tea last night, and it was a really good relaxing Sunday night drink. I was so relaxed after.
Were you?
Hot liquid, just a little bit of alcohol, and just warm
Super
and fuzzy
chilled?
all over.
Super chilled?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a cup of tea and went to bed last night. Pretty short order.
Yeah.
Barely stayed awake long enough to open up my new miniatures. Guys, we were at a convention. We did 3 days of late nights and early mornings and lots of walking around on the concrete floors.
Yeah.
Wouldn't trade a moment. Sore limbs and all. Always worth it and always an enjoyable convention. Yeah, if I start talking about Icon, we will be here for hours.
Okay, let's move on quickly to woolly workings.
I've been working on things.
I've also been working on things, and we're both in the middle of a row, and this was an inconvenient time to have this segment.
When am I not in the middle of a row? We'll start with my finished object.
Okay, let's start with that.
It's done!
The mallow cardigan?
The mallow cardigan's finished. Why is it upside down?
Well, because you picked it up upside down. Try again.
Man! No, I've not woven in my ends. What kind of crazy person weaves in their ends?
So it's
Not
only
so
finished.
attractive.
It's not finished.
Listen, it's done. It's not outside wearable yet. I had gotten down to the point last week where I'd finished my sleeves, and I was just going to add a bit of extra bottom garter bump to make a more significant garter bump bottom, and it looks much better.
Excellent.
So, super happy. It is washed. It is blocked. The lace blocked a bit bigger than I wanted it to, so I'm probably going to give it another soak and put it in the dry here on a delicate cycle and watch it and see if I can get the lace to sort of cinch up a little bit, because right now I have a bit of a high-low hem going on. Not a big one, but a smidge of a high-low hem.
It was an unintentional design feature?
It was an unintentional design feature. So this was for the Marshmallow Cow, which ended ages ago.
Not that long ago. Hey, you know what? I'm working on something with the cowl ended 3 years ago, so...
Oh, I'm only a month behind.
Yeah, you're doing great.
It was hosted by Barocco Yarns. I did my sweater out of some Barocco VK vintage DK, which is half acrylic, half wool, and I thoroughly enjoyed knitting with this. I'm actually planning another sweater in the vintage DK because I really enjoy knitting, the stitch definition, everything. Really pretty. There's no color for this. It's just a really pretty blue. It's not a sky blue. It's not a dark blue. It's in that blue jean denim blue range.
Yep.
Just a really nice blue. So super happy. Turned out excellent. Love the pattern. It was my first time working with lace charts. So would super highly recommend, and it's a free pattern.
It's beautiful.
So cool. So I will weave in the ends and I'll wear it this fall. I'm not super... You can really tell when I fold it up this way. It still looks fine. I just want to try to cinch it up a little bit in the back if I can. I won't technically be wearing it till the fall time because I don't really wear wool until September.
At least.
I find it too warm, but I think I'm going to bust that bad boy out for the Manitoba Fiber Festival and for Knit City.
Oh yeah, well, everybody busts out a sweater for the Fiber Festival, regardless of whether the weather calls for it.
I'm not wearing a pullover, I'll tell you that much, but I'll do a cardigan. So I would likely be wearing that. So I will weave in the ends. I just want to do one more washing and try to close up the lace a little bit before I go ham. Now guys, I've got an extra ball. I could literally go in, graft open a space, knit the sides and the front longer to match the back, and then like Kitchener it closed if I wanted to. I don't.
Don't care that much?
I want to be done with this sweater. So I will try
Fair.
the easy fix first, and I will be careful so that it doesn't felt or anything. And if the easy fix doesn't work, then yeah, I'll do the hard fix. But I don't want to do that right now. I want to work on other things. So I am now officially done talking about it. And I think I only talked about this project actively as something on my needles for like a month and a week or something.
I think I have talked about every single thing I've ever made since we started the podcast for at least 3 months. So you're doing great. I have like 3 stitches left, and then I can talk about this thing that I'm working on right now.
Tea sip of victory.
Tea sip of victory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remind me as I cut off my circulation with my overly tensioned yarn.
Well,
Oh gosh.
so you ever having overly tensioned yarn?
It's because it's tangled, because I'm working on the Find Your Fade, and I'm currently in a fade. So in addition to having most of a large shawl complete at this point, I also have 2 strands of yarn actively coming off this thing. So it's a little bit of a process to hold it up. Okay, but if I just get these onto that side, then I can hold this up. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I didn't make an enormous amount of progress on this one. I finished the last little bit of the lace section in the truffle color from Dublin, and now I'm melting into the color that I got from San Jose, which I believe is called Suman Dolce. I'll look that up in a second. I had the ball band here in my bag, but this is the ball of yarn that I got in San Jose from Pearlescence like 2 weeks before they closed.
I remember
because I
that
happened
story.
to be there. And then we've got the London colorway, and then we've got the home colorway. No, sorry, the home colorway and then the London colorway, which fade really, really closely. And then the San Francisco colorway, which just goes rainbow because it's San Francisco and it had to be rainbow.
I'm not disputing your logic.
Okay, I'm gonna find out for sure if this was Suman
Dolce?
I'm like 90% sure that's what it was called.
That
That doesn't even belong with this project.
Well, that project bag gets used a lot.
It does. Yep, it's got... Help. I don't know, there's like food crumbs in here, guys.
Have you cleaned your project bags out between projects?
Apparently not.
Okay.
It's crumbs. I thought I did. I'm gonna clean it better now.
I'm gonna
Here it
start
is.
hiding whole skeins of yarn in your project bags and see how long it takes you to find them.
You know what? If the project is large enough, I won't notice for a long time. Suman Dolce.
Oh, you were right.
Yep. It's Boss Savannah. Ooh, there's 10% cashmere in this one.
I love how you don't even remember what's in your balls of yarn.
You know what? There's 5 of them from 5 different countries that I've gotten over the last like decade of my life. That's actually not even a lie.
Nope, those are all true stats.
Slightly less than a decade because I wasn't out knitting until 8 years ago. So just shy. Anyway, this is Suman Dolce. It's a golden to gray sort of a color, and it feels nice. It feels nice.
Well, that's the 10% cashmere you're showing
Yeah.
off now?
Yeah. It feels nice.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of a halo more than the others.
That's fine. So, I'm currently working with baby alpaca. Let's talk about halo.
So
Jeebers.
these ones are Gonna blend nicely together, a little bit nicer than the truffle did with the other blue one, peacock.
With the other words here.
The truffle didn't blend as well with the peacock as I had hoped, but it still looks cool, so I'm happy with it. And I'm just really, in general, happy with this whole project, except for now I have a tangled mess. It's your turn to talk about a thing! While I sort out my tangled mess. What is going on?
You are a hot tangled mess.
I am.
How did you even manage that?
I don't know.
Some days I super worry about you.
I have a degree that says I'm good at things.
Yeah, you do have a very fancy piece of paper you paid a lot of money for.
Yeah, I did. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
I'm sitting here detangling yarn.
It was like the other week when we had a girlfriend visiting, and she's sitting here working on a project. She's like, "How does one even knit?" And we just started laughing at her. She's in like cable thigh-high socks, but she couldn't garter.
How do you knit?
How does one knit? And I'm like, I have no idea. Pretty sure
she's like halfway through a project. How do you knit?
I'm pretty sure the brothers thought all three of us had lost our minds. We were laughing so hard when they got in.
You know what she meant though? Like sometimes you're just doing something and you just
like
suddenly this thing that you've been doing forever, you just like forget how to do it for a second.
Yeah, and you're like, how does one brush one's hair? I've only been doing it since I was, 6 or something.
Totally get it.
What is this thing I'm supposed to be doing?
I hate when I think of a word that I want to use and I just can't quite remember the word, and I can describe everything else about the word, like what letter it starts with, how many syllables it has, and it's like, it means blah 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 blah, and I just cannot think of this, and it ends up being like a really simple common word too.
That's fine. I rename items all the time. The scary thing is depending on how long I've spent with someone, is they understand exactly what I mean, even though I haven't used the correct identifying descriptor for whatever it is I've been asking for. My famous go-to example is I forgot what a fork was called one day.
Dinglehopper.
I don't call it a dinglehopper.
No? Okay. What was it?
Calmly looked at my mother and requested the specialized hole poking device. She knew what I wanted. She knew I wanted a fork. I couldn't remember what a fork was called. It was a specialized hole poking device.
That's alright. My parents apparently couldn't remember what a hair elastic was called.
Oh my.
And so for the first, I kid you not, 8 years of my life, I thought the real name for the band that you pulled up a ponytail with was a hair doodly.
A hair doodly.
Legit. Also a TV remote. It was a TV doodly.
TV doodly.
Yeah. Did not know that it wasn't the correct word for about 8 years.
Oh, that's hilarious. So when you start going to other people's houses and they realize that they do things differently than you do, and it blows your mind. It's never occurred to you that people would do things differently than how you do things in your house.
I know.
You're like, what?
It's a crazy growing, learning moment there.
Craziness is this? What do you mean the person who cooked dinner also does the dishes? That's not how it works in my house. If you cook, the other half cleans.
That's how my parents always did it.
Yeah. That's how my parents always did it.
That's not how me and Chris do it.
No, that is not how you and your husband choose to do it, no. I am but one person. I cook and clean.
Ah, well, you don't really.
There is nobody else, guys. I do all of it. I have no one.
You could try to get your cat to help.
She would not help.
Probably not. She'd probably make it so much worse.
She would. It just make it worse. Oh my god, it'd be so bad. Okay. So I spent a good chunk of this week. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you'll have seen this. It's the Twin Up M-Cal shawl, which hasn't been a knit along since March. I'm still puttering with it. But I posted a photo earlier this week on Instagram, and it consumed a good chunk of my bed. The only problem is I spread it out, take a photo, realized I didn't have my camera with me. So I went out to get my phone, which is also my camera, came back, and Phaedra had made herself comfortable right in the middle of the project.
Well, yeah. It's like when I borrowed your bed to take an in-progress picture of my blanket.
Yeah, she was right there.
All up in it.
All up in it.
And I had my phone on me at the time. I spread it out, and by the time I took my phone out and turned on the camera...
She knows.
She's
She knows.
right there.
She's like, oh, you spread out the knitting to look pretty? Let me lie right down on the top of it.
I mean, she made a good model.
She's a very good cat model because she'll turn and look at you when you call her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She poses nicely.
She does. So this is being done in 3 colors. The white speckled, which are my darts, because they're technically my short row shaping darts, is what it is from Midnight Cravings. It is in the colorway The Girl Next Door. It's a light speckle. It's got some blue and red in it, which is why it pairs up so nicely with the red and the blue yarn, which is an baby alpaca blend that I got from Knit Picks called Elizabeth and Bennett. So I finally finished the great big section, which is supposed to be the lacy zigzag holes, but I can't see the yarn well enough to do the patterning for it, so I just did a repeat of the bumpy things. I did the short row shaping, and I'm into the second section, third section of bumpy rows. So when I'm done the third section of blue bumpy rows and another section of white short row, I will be at the same size I am on the other side of the shawl. Guys, I got 2 sets of 4mm needles going on this shawl. It is huge. It's no longer a travel project because it literally drapes from my ankles up. I am not going to be able to finish this with the Elizabeth Bennett's yarns. The red and the green will not make it. It's not going to make it. So I'm going to do my short row shaping. And then when I mean it's not going to make it. It lives in my dragon fiber bags thingy here. I have still a ton of stitches on each side. Well, ton. There's under 100 by the time I'm done. But I have this tiny ball of red. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
So what I think I'm going to do, yeah, pretty much. But I still have a fair bit of the white.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is a midnight, this is a Cozy Up Knits design. So I'm going to, as the girls say, hack the pattern.
Right.
Now I knew I'd have to make some adjustments because I knew I was working with less yardage than they did for their pattern. And I knew I was doing a more yardage heavy pattern repeat because I had to do the bumps instead of the lacy holes. So I figure I've got that espresso brown for Midnight Cravings that I can do the tips in. And what I'll do is after my blue section is done, because you can see this ball's getting kind of small too.
Yeah.
I still have more of the blue than I do of the red. So I should be able to finish the blue section.
Okay, yeah.
What I will do is after my second short row shaping section, I'm going to micro stripe till I run out of the red and the blue on either side.
Okay.
Because it's twinned, so the sides don't match. So if you look here in the middle piece, if I hold this up correctly so everybody can see the right side, which always looks prettier. On one side of your center panel is blue, one side of your center panel is red, and you alternate those colors out. So what I will do is on the side over here where I've got my last red panel and then I got my white short row shaping, I will do blue micro stripes till I'm out. And on the blue side, I will do the red micro stripings till I run out. And then I'll keep decreasing in the Midnight Cravings Girl Next Door white. And if I don't have quite enough of that, I will micro stripe the brown in at the tips.
Yes, because that would go nicely with the
with the white and the other colors I've got. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So I've sort of decided how I'm going to hack it, which is kind of crazy, but it's what I got to do because I knew I was short on yardage and I had been making some adjustments to the patterns. So that is what I'm doing. I'm hoping to get this finished shortly. It is still a fair bit of knitting. It's the center panel goes from over my shoulders to below my girly parts.
Good description.
I'm sorry, would you like me to say hoo-ha?
No, that doesn't make it better.
There are other more politically correct words. We could just call them what they are, but people get kind of weirded out about calling body parts what they are, which I've never understood. It's body parts. A good 50% of the population has them.
So I'm just going to keep laughing at hoo-ha.
It is my best descriptor word where people are like, I don't like it when people use the proper words. I just tend to use the proper words. I have a vagina. That is what it is. And then people like my grandma and some of her friends don't like it, so they call it lady parts, and I tend to bug them. I like to like push a little because that's the kind of person I am, and I go, "Oh, you mean your hoo-ha?" Because I don't even remember where I heard that from.
I don't know. This isn't the first time I've heard it. It just makes me laugh every time because it's just so
How do you
weird.
take yourself seriously when you have a hoo-ha? Nobody can take themselves seriously when they have a hoo-ha. But I'm just, fine, whatever.
It's like, hoo-ha is like the sound you make when you drink moonshine or something.
Yeah.
Hoo-ha!
Like, see, you know, that part of my body's not country and the rest of me is something else. Like, it's just... So it's fine. She just... If I have to use something as ridiculous as lady bits, you're getting words like hoo-ha, because that brings me joy. So, I find as I get older, I'm fine. Just making statements. Just going to deal with it. So I have my little stitch marker in my blue section telling me when I'm done my decreases and I'm out of bumps to move back to my short row shaping. So thankfully the rows are a lot shorter than they were when we first picked up stitches, and by we I mean Diana.
Yeah, I did do that, didn't I?
You picked up the stitches for this one because the colors were too dark for me too.
Right.
Yeah, and the yarn's quite thin. I am loving working in it. I am enjoying all the yarns. I am thoroughly enjoying how this is turning out. I will be so glad when this is finished because I suspect it is going to take all of my blocking mats and most of Diana's blocking wires to block this bad boy. It is going to be all over my living room floor.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to consume the living room floor. I will probably actually put the coffee table up and consume the living room floor.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the only way I'm going to get that done. So, theoretically, before Diana gets back from Vegas, I'm done this.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, I have 2 more left. How many do you have?
I also have 2 more.
Sweet, your turn.
All right, let me just negotiate this center double decrease and put my stitch marker back on and
Slip, slip, knit.
lock that in place.
Knit 2 together.
You know what?
Slip 1, knit 1, pass slip, stitch over.
No. Yes? Wait.
Increase 7 while decreasing 3.
No. No. In my pretty teacup bag.
In your pretty teacup bag.
My pretty teacup bag, I have my pretty edged shawl. This is the Celtic Myths, which I worked on this week because something slightly more substantial knitting-wise was required because stuff was happening and I required distraction.
Yeah, everybody needs a distraction from time to time.
I'm tying knots around it, whatever. I'm very nearly done this ball. It's basically all gone. But I have another whole ball, so it's going to be fine. Which is good, because I'm not quite halfway done the very fancy edging. But I made a decent amount of progress this week. Several inches. And it looks so pretty. And it feels so nice.
It's a very pretty Celtic cross pattern. Celtic knot pattern.
Yes. And it's gonna look so nice when it's all blocked out with this nice rustic thick and thin yarn. And I'm so excited for this shawl. I started this also for a knit along.
Years ago. Years. We can use the S.
At least 5.
Years. We get
At
to use
least
the S.
5. I don't remember exactly how many, but
emphasis on the S.
years, at least 5. But I'm still really into this, and I'm gonna get it done. So
I
that I actually
maintain.
have it.
Take that with you, but wind your first 2 balls for your mohair madness that you need. Those 2 projects will be your great travel knitting.
Maybe.
Because that you can do on the airplane, but I think the mohair medley is a bit easier to do if you're slightly distracted.
So pretty. So
Guys, I'm
pretty.
desperate for her to cast on for the Across the Prairies Cal. I want to see that freaking shawl done, and I almost feel like I could order the kit for myself, have it arrive from Amsterdam, and still knit it up faster than her.
Probably. I don't dispute this at all whatsoever. Not in the slightest.
It's so pretty. I need you to start it. So then I can bug you about finishing it. Don't get me wrong, that's really pretty too.
Muffle, muffle, muffle. I'm so excited. It has to be on my face.
Okay. Oh, we finished the sweater and you didn't put it on your head.
will
Who
rectify this.
are you?
I'm a very forgetful individual. I will rectify this
We
right.
had a finished object and Diana did not pile it on her head.
Well, now it's piled on my head. There.
Excellent.
I'm just gonna hold it here.
Well, it's kind of awkward to pile a sweater on her head.
That, and I have an awkward hairstyle for piling
Oh,
things
do
on my
you?
head today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all up on the middle. Going for the trendy top knot today.
I went for the it's windy and I want my hair out of my face half ponytail. Which, by the way, I just realized my sunglasses are probably still on top of my head.
They are, in fact. It's summer.
That's fine. They just live up there.
Okay.
Better?
All right, that was my
Excellent.
project.
That was your project? Alright, so I had to channel a little bit of the Fiber Friends. Now, guys, I'm on the Fiber Friends Friday night knit-in club. And a couple weeks ago, Louise got talked into... No, Louise... Weeks ago? Months ago. She decided this year she was going to do a new cast on every Monday this year. A new cast on Monday.
Every Monday?
Every Monday.
That's 52.
Yes, new projects. This year.
No. Why?
One of the ladies in the chat's over 100 dishcloths already for the year.
Okay, if you're gonna cast on a new dishcloth each week, or like a new pair of socks or something, like I can kind of grasp that one. I guess if you're doing small stuff.
Yeah, she does mints, hats, scarves.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's
Yeah.
less crazy then. I was
So-
thinking like my stuff. I'm like 5 skein shawl every week. Like why?
Oh no, we're not
No.
that crazy.
No, not that crazy.
So in the spirit of the Monday cast on, I casted on these self-striping socks for the Fiber Friends knit along.
Ah,
So it was a 3-month knit along. It is now a 2-month knit along because, guys, it's the end of July.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's the end of July. It's here. So, Crudmeyers.
What?
My ball bands on the computer thingy.
Oh.
They're just out of reach.
Oh no.
It's the German sock yarn that I bought.
Oh, I
Comfort
wool.
Comfort sock.
Comfort something.
Comfort something or other.
It was Swedish.
Was it Swedish?
Yeah, I discovered that when I was looking it up to link it.
Oh, well, we can link it in the show notes. Diana's had to find it already once. And I apologize because I forgot to pull that down. Because I literally cast it on this morning. So I have my usual 2 at a time toe up. I have not decided if I want to do like a little simple pattern because it is a self-striping sock. Or just do me some plain old vanilla socks. Let's be honest. I'll probably be lazy and it'll probably be vanilla. But I literally have such a tiny toe piece. Tiny toe. Like you could almost confuse them for ears for a bear.
Cute.
That's how small my toe of my sock is right now. I'm not even at 20 stitches across yet. And I need to be, I'm 64 stitches in the round. So like, I got a ways to go.
Yeah.
Before my toe's finished. So in the junction of 2 at a time, you'll see there's 2 strings coming out from this one cake of yarn. Because I cake the yarn and I pull one from the inside and one from the outside, and I stop on the outside when I get to the last color rotation that matches the one on the inside. Does it work out every time? No, this could be fraternal socks, not matching socks. That's okay. They'll be close enough. I'll be happy. So I am excited to have socks on my needles again because I didn't realize how much I missed them till they weren't there. So I'm working with my ChowGoo Red Lace 2.25 millimeter needles, and we'll be plugging through some socks here for a little bit. And I have till the end of September.
I don't know.
That's 2 months from now to get this done. I also have to the end of September to get my Across the Prairie Stephen West knit cowl finished. And I did not work on that at all this week.
No, you did not.
I really wanted to finish the Twin It Up, so maybe this week. We'll see. All right, I have 1 project left. You're up.
This is my last project.
That's fine.
It's a new project.
Good. Just cast things on. Is it that mohair shawl?
No, it's not. So in the vein of you were missing having socks on your needles.
Were you missing having socks on your needles?
Yes.
Did we independently cast on socks this week because we both missed having socks on our needles?
Not quite.
Oh, well, we were close.
It is Socklike. My
It is sock-like?
Socklike.
Oh, what is a sock-like object?
So you'll notice that this is the sock yarn that my brother
Yes.
gave back to me.
Give back to you, yeah.
About a month ago.
Yes.
He later and completely independently requested mittens as a Christmas present.
Oh, you're making him mittens.
Yes. So I set him loose on Ravelry, and he picked.
You make it sound like he was a wild bear in a china shop. I set him
usually a bull.
loose. I set him. Listen. A bull in a china shop didn't make any sense to me. It still doesn't. The bull would disturb things as it walked past, but the bear would get up into the nooks and crannies and pull stuff down.
You're right, actually.
Also, how would you get the bull through the door?
Same way as the bear, I assume.
The bears are slightly smaller than the bull.
Depends on the bear.
Depends on the bull. They're
Touche.
big.
Touche.
Their horns would get stuck somewhere. They'd cause damage, but not near as much as a bear would. And then you try little bears, like baby bears. It'd be like a walking disaster is what that would be.
Anyway, I set my brother loose on Ravelry, and he picked a mitten pattern that was just like a simple sock yarn pattern. I'm like, hey, perfect. We have self-striping sock yarn. So I'm not actually using the pattern. I used it as inspiration, but I'm basically doing the cuff of a cuff down sock at the moment.
Okay.
And when this is about 2 inches long, then I'm going to do several rows just plain stockinette, and then I'll add a thumb gusset and then just do it plain in the round.
Now here's the question. Are you going to do that sock thing or that mitten thing we talked about doing? As she stares at me blankly. Listen, I'm supposed to be the center of your universe, damn it.
Right, I'm sorry. I do not remember the mitten thing. What was the mitten thing?
Because you made those bulky mittens last year with the thrumming.
Yeah.
But we found the thrumming on the inside was problematic because our fingers get stuck in them.
Right.
So we were going to make a fingering weight mitten and then make a worsted or bulky on top of that so you could sew them together and stuff the thrumming in the middle.
Ah.
So you got the look of the thrumming on the outside, but you had a layer of mitten on the inside because it's so windy in this province. Well, it's windy everywhere, let's be honest.
Yeah.
In the winter, and that second layer of wool will help block more of the wind.
I remember this now. That was not where this was going. These are just mittens that are going to be thin enough to wear in the fall and the spring and can be stuffed inside bigger mittens in the winter. So this is... What is this yarn?
I don't know.
Lang Yarns Yaw Wool.
Yaw Wool?
Jawоll. I'm assuming it's supposed to be... Well, it's probably Yavel or something.
We're so good at pronouncing things. We're the best.
It's made in Italy for something in Switzerland.
Sure.
Sure.
It's a pretty
anyway,
color.
It's self-striping sock yarn in blues and grays.
They're very Charlie colors.
Yes. So I am excited to have something sock-like on the needles that is not actually a sock. But it's very close.
For me.
It's just gonna have a thumb gusset instead of a heel.
That's fine.
And is otherwise identical to a sock, actually.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, that is my new project. It's my new travel-y project, lives in my bag, because I haven't had a project that just lives in my go everywhere bag for a while because everything else got kind of big, so I only bring it with me when I know I'll have time to work on it.
Well, there's a difference between committing to doing like a row or two of sock if you're going somewhere and committing to 10 or 12 rows of 120 plus stitch shawls.
Yeah. So it's my new travel everywhere project, because I haven't had one of those since I finished my last pair of socks in like March or something.
I don't know. I think so.
Something like that. Anyway, I am excited to have something sock-like.
Socklike.
Yep.
That might be our title for the day.
Possibly.
All right. What are you doing? You are so skilled at getting fiber in your face.
I don't know. I don't know how I do it.
I don't know how you do it either. It's a talent I do not have.
I can't spell sock-like. For the record, I just wrote sock-lick.
Whoa, I'm not looking a sock.
Me neither. I don't care how clean it is.
I don't care, yeah, no, even if it's clean. Nope, not doing it. Not licking a sock. No, thank you. All right. Last but not least, in my Erin Lane bag, complete with my knit shop pin from Vegas that Miss Terry brought me.
I should wear my pin when I'm in Vegas. Actually, no, I should not, because then I have to take it through security. Just stop babbling about taking sharp things through security now.
Don't take sharp things through security.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm not going to bring the pin.
It makes security nervous.
I don't know. You might not need your big metal stick.
I can't. It's been almost a year and I still can't get over the fact that airport security thought I would for fun walk around with an aluminum stick pretending to be blind. It's like, nah, I figured, it'll help me get through lines. Like, what? No, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there somewhere that does something that kind of daft, but guys, visually impaired people don't even get handicap passes in Canada. So even if you drive us places, you can't park in the wheelchair accessible only parking space. We're visually impaired. We are not incapable of walking. We don't come with a chair. That's not what our physical disability is. We don't need those spots.
Fair enough.
Now, admittedly, when my grandmother was still alive and she had one of those, because she had a walker towards the end, we would park in the wheelchair place and people would still assume it was for me because she drove. And I'm like, no. My grandma couldn't understand, because we'd go to Costco and she'd get one of the little vroom carts, right? Like
yeah.
A little go-kart. My grandmother had an oxygen tank for like the last year and a bit of her life. And she was still legally allowed to drive. She still saw well enough. She was still fine health-wise. She just wasn't sucking in oxygen very well. And we'd gotten her a walker so she could rest because she wasn't sucking in oxygen very well. So her walker was Harley. They all had nicknames. But everybody assumed that her 30-something-year-old granddaughter was the reason we had the handicap pass. And my grandma is trying to explain to these people, I would walk 20,000 steps in a day and not have to take a break. Grandma needs to stop halfway through the parking lot.
Yeah.
The wheelchair handicap thing was for her, not for me. Oh, jeez.
That said, it is nice getting to skip all the lines in airports.
I have no idea why it works that way, but it really does. So it's you ever want to go traveling, take your Jocelyn with you.
Yeah.
I'm game to travel. It's good. Oh, gosh. Terry gets to experience it this fall because we're going to Knit City together. She's in for a treat.
Oh, yes.
I have finally started my second Endless Summer Adventure shawl. So, if you guys remember, I am working on a design pattern release. I am working with Daria of Cloud9 Fiberworks. We are working on a DK and fingering weight version, so I'm currently doing the fingering weight version to, check the math and make sure it all works out the way I want it to. I am making great progress. Daria has a super wonderfully colored yarn. This is called Sea Anemone Wall number 2. It is a heavily variegated colored yarn. It definitely looks like a sea anemone.
It's so bright and cheerful.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. I have a ton of colors going on in here, guys. If you want to actually get a breakdown for the color list, I would say check out Amber Dragon Designs on Instagram. So, Diana, you get to link all the things.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Actually, no, all our social is linked in the footer of every show note.
Beautiful. Let's be honest. I trust you, so I don't check.
You probably should. Sometimes I've found errors in there that have been there for months.
Oops. So I know once I open up the lace, it'll grow a fair bit. So I am making my way through. I still have a bunch of my skein left. I may honestly make the fingering weight version a 1 skein wonder. The DK version takes 2 to 3 skeins. So
okay.
That way, if you want a smaller one, you can do it in the fingering. But if you want a bigger shawl, you can do it in the DK weight, which I think is going to work well for everybody. So I'm hoping to make this through. This did not exist in its current format last week. So I've made a ton of progress. A good chunk of it during Icon. because there was some hardcore puzzling going on. So I had a lot of sitting time to sit down and work on it. So these are being done on a pair of 5mm Chao-Gu needles. Can you tell I like them, guys? Can you tell I like their needles? A lot. I will shove it in here. And theoretically, I get a much more progress done this week. I got family visiting this week, so theoretically, we'll get chatting and talking, and I should be able to work up a storm, because it is right now one skein and very small and easy to pick up and put down, because heavens knows I worked the pattern out math-wise and then made it once, and now I'm making it twice, so it's not like I'm looking at my own pattern, written pattern to make it. I know the pattern, you guys. Is out to a tech editor. It's out to test knitters. It should be out for everybody shortly.
Nice.
Ta-da! That's my last project.
Alright, that should bring us to Yarn on the Go.
My yarn, which was my last project, went to Icon.
Icon happened.
Oh, we were animated like crazy.
I was a cat girl.
You were. You're welcome for the loan of the ears.
I loved the ears. Jocelyn lent me some jingly cat ears to stick on my pink wig.
Oh.
And they were so perfect, I went and bought my own jingly cat ears the next day.
Yes. They were super good.
Yeah.
Jingly cat ears. They just come in handy. They're just little cat ears you can clip into your hair or your wig, and they just have little bells in them with ribbons. I mean, nothing super fancy, but dang, do they work well.
They're so cute.
Very cute.
So freaking cute.
So, I had an excellent weekend. I saw some panels. I got obsessed with the idea of doing some stuff like Gothic Lolita.
Yeah.
I want to also learn how to wield a greatsword.
Also, yeah.
Also, yeah. I saw some Q&A panels. We did a lot of shopping.
I went to a coding for cosplay panel, and now I need to buy all the Adafruit stuff.
Yeah. So these things happened. We got stopped a lot, so Jocelyn could chat with people she always sees once a year.
Yep. There was much socializing. I also saw quite a number of people that I recognized, but given that I normally have thigh-length hair and glasses, not short pink hair and no glasses, they didn't have a hot clue who I was. So I did not get stopped by very many people.
Hey, listen, I made it into the convention center before I got stopped. 1.5 feet through the door, but I made it into the convention center this year.
Well, it probably helps that we actually parked in the convention center this year.
Yeah.
Instead of showing up by bus a block away.
The second 2 days, yeah, but the first day I got there all by myself.
Oh, that's true.
And I bounced from person to person and group to group. I'd already chatted with like 30 or 40 people I knew before I ran into you Friday evening. I'd already been there for a couple hours, several hours. Let's be honest, guys.
It was a good con.
I enjoyed it. It is my
puzzle quest competition.
Favorite in the city of the year. It's my favorite.
So me and Mr. B were puzzling hardcore all weekend. It was great.
So much puzzling was going on, and you guys were happy to do it. You were into it.
As a software developer, I basically solve logic puzzles for a living. And there's a reason that I went into that career, because I love solving logic puzzles. It's great. It's my happy place.
And there was 10 of them for us to solve. We got 9 out of 10. Like, I think we did really
there
good.
Were other people that were super into it, which is always really fun.
Talked to different people, met people I'd never met before. It's a fairly big convention, so I was very excited with it. We jokingly decided August we were just going to spend all of August going to different anime conventions all over the country.
We pretty much can.
You really could spend all summer jumping from convention to convention all across North America and be in a different one every week.
I had a career path that lets me do that. Actually, no, I don't. That would be too many conventions.
That's too many conventions.
I like 2 or 3, and then like that's good.
Ouch.
Otherwise, it's too much.
That was my shoulder popping.
Although if one of those is DEF CON, and that's a solid week.
Wow. Yes.
Well, DEF CON is only one weekend, but there's another conference right before it. B-sides, yeah. And so, like, the whole Hacker Summer Camp is like a 1.5 week long thing.
Well, yeah, but it's technically 2 events.
Well, there's also the Black Hat Corporate Security Conference going on at the same time.
Oh, are you a part of that?
No. That one costs a lot of money to attend because it's corporate.
Oh, that's fair.
do seem to have invitations to some of the parties, though, so, you know, yay, friends that know people.
I guess.
I don't know. It's always a good time. The internet leaks into reality. Be weird. Yeah, other yarn on the go. I was out visiting in Stonewall again. I went to a funeral on Wednesday, and it was very sad. But then there was visiting afterwards, and that was rather happy. And that is where the knitting occurred. I did not knit during the funeral because I was a little bit busy with the Kleenex. Also, gosh, this is so difficult.
You're like, oh, I can work on this while we're podcasting. It's just garter.
It is, but then there's so much shawl and there's so much yarn. So, I'm of the opinion that you can just generally knit in public, and that's fine, and it should be fine, and everybody should understand that you're perfectly capable of both knitting and carrying on a conversation. But maybe not at funerals during the service. There's like a few things where I feel like, because some people think it's disrespectful to be like knitting during other things going on, and I don't agree with that, with the exception so far of funerals. I don't think you should probably be doing that. That's just my take.
Sure.
But like during the reception and stuff afterwards, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
But like just during the service. Anyway, that's my take on it. Yeah. So there was visiting, there was knitting, and that was where I required the extra distraction of the Celtic Myths shawl.
That's fair. I knit everywhere.
Honestly, for your own go?
I didn't knit at my grandmother's funeral at all, but there was over 400 guests to talk to.
That's a lot of people.
We filled the whole church.
Not bad.
That's a lot of people.
I think that brings us to wool gathering.
It does, which is the random segment where we put everything else.
Alright, I will just quickly mention then, I'm going to be away next week. I'm going to try to record the day before I leave, but if that doesn't work out, you're going to get a surprise special guest.
Ta-da!
And then I'm definitely away the next week, so you'll have another surprise special guest.
Ta-da!
Which means that since I am the tech person of the podcast, the audio may not go up on time.
Guys, let's be honest. She's been working on an audio problem since the 27th of June. None of our July episodes are up in most of the podcast catchers. I am not as worried about her having to skip out on that as I am about getting that problem resolved.
I know how to solve that problem now. I just need to actually do it. So I'll do that tonight.
Yeah. So that's I was like, if you need to skip out because you got to pack or like your husband wants to see you or something crazy before you leave for a week, no problem. The videos will go up on the regular scheduled time. They just may not be accompanied with show notes depending on how busy I am. So, and that's fine. It happens. Diana said she can hit buttons and do things for me if I get frustrated and can't get it to work when she comes home. Which will probably be a text going, computers!
Fair.
And you going, it's okay. I'll do it later. Oh boy. So I talked to the people who are going to be special guests, 2 of them. The week you knew for sure you weren't going to be here, and both of them were like, yes, if I need help this coming week because you run out of time, it's totally fine. So you might have special guests back to back. Crazy. One of them was at a day after a wedding today.
Sounds like an epic wedding.
It was a 5-day long wedding.
That is an epic wedding.
It's a very epic wedding. We got pictures of the very nice fancy backyard that they were in. I believe I replied with pictures of my pineapples.
I just muted the conversation because it was happening just slightly after 5 o'clock, so my phone had turned its sound back on and I was still at work, so I haven't caught up yet.
I posted pictures of my pineapples. I didn't have a really nice, pretty epic backyard to show anybody. I wasn't in the backyard. I was downstairs near my pineapples making us dinner. I just showed the pineapples.
Pineapples. I don't think it quite compares to backyard at a mansion at a wedding.
Nope, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. So.
But pineapples. I have 4 of them. I'm one human being. It's a lot of pineapple. 4 apples.
Making pineapple jerky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the sweater thing you wanted to talk
Oh,
about.
hey, the My Rhine back. Okay, so Lady Dye Yarns is a fellow indie dyer knitter. Listen, she's another wonderful knitter, and her and Jasmine from the Knitmore Girls are doing a knit along called the My Rhine BIPOC sweater. Did I do that right?
Yes. Rhine BIPOC sweater?
Yeah. Which I, of course, had to follow the links to check out the designers and look at the colors because they're our colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Color theme. Oh.
Gorgeous color
Yeah.
theme. And I'm like, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Am I going to do it? Probably. Right now, I'm saying I don't have the time. 3 weeks from now, Jocelyn from the future, when she caves and buys yarn and gets a pattern, because the sweater patterns are so nice. Let's be honest. My 2x cart just vastly increased, period, when I started looking at the designers off the thing. Off the list. Because that's how it goes. So it's sort of to help support and raise awareness for, oh man, I can never remember what all the letters stand for.
Black Indigenous People of Color? Question mark? I don't know what the bi part is. I think it's black.
It's supposed to represent knitters of color, people of marginalized communities. So I think that also includes transgendered, gay, lesbian, like all of them.
Sure.
But I
sorry, that sounded really dismissive. I just mean like I have no idea.
I'm not positive on the things because I'm of the mind where yes, we're all knitters and we're all accepted, and I think we all should be recognized. Flat out, we should just all be better people. So I'm loving that they're highlighting it, and in my case, helping me find new to me designers, which I am always okay with.
Yes, I have the links open on my phone. I'm gonna look at them after.
They're really pretty. So I'm super excited. I just kind of wanted to give a shout out for that because it's one of those ones, like, if that's something that you've like never heard of, which is kind of weird given how big it is in the knitting community. So I'm imagining everybody's heard of it. But I really like the initiative that they're doing and what they're taking with it. So I'm like, yes.
Are there dates for that, or is it like a knit more along where it's just kind of do it as you feel?
Well, they've got the My Rhine sweater, so I'm assuming Rhineback.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I haven't actually opened up the Ravelry tech. I'm really bad. Guys, if you talk with us, please get a hold of me on Instagram or by email or by Facebook or like Twitter. Find me on Twitter. Ravelry is the absolute last thing I go to in a week to check for messages. So if you message me on Ravelry, I won't see it for weeks because I don't check Ravelry messages. I check all the other messages. Just Ravelry just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Please get a hold of me that way. And if you send it as a private message, I can share more information and details. There's just some stuff I don't post publicly. If you have a question or comment or anything, because I just don't check Ravelry. I know I don't, unless I'm shopping for patterns. It just doesn't happen.
I've been really bad about checking Ravelry.
Yes, I know.
I was really good about it, and then I was away for 2 weeks, and I got out of the habit.
Yeah.
Oops.
So it's one of those ones that it just occurred to me now that if people are messaging us on Ravelry, I won't be seeing those messages. But I like their initiative and I like what they're pushing for because I really do agree. Like we should feature and make sure that everybody feels welcome because they should be welcome because we're all knitters, and that's the only thing that matters.
Yes, I agree.
Either way, that and really I love me a knit along. And I have yet to meet a knit along I don't like.
You have yet to meet a knit along you don't participate in, even if it's after the fact?
No, I have said no to knit alongs.
Which one? One singular, I'm sure.
One singular? Oh no, more than one. Because there's been some for ones that the pattern hasn't caught my eye or I wasn't interested in. There's the Lace Shawl Society. They do year long and there's 6 of them. I've said no 2 times in a row.
Oh my goodness.
I might not say no next year. I might say yes. You never know. But for now, I haven't had the time. I'm not participating in Operation Sweater Chest. I'm not like, there is a ton of knit-alongs and craft-alongs going on out there. And I participate in as many as I can. Because I'm crazy.
Am I a bad person if I agree with you?
No.
Okay, then yes, you are crazy.
No, I take on more than I can. I bite off more than I can chew all the time. Always have. I am comfortable with this. So yeah, but no, it's such a pretty knit along. Do not be shocked.
So next week. So I bought yarn for sweater.
It's entirely possible. It is entirely possible. Hey, I finished a sweater in a month and a week.
It's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Don't think I finished anything in a month and a week.
Nope.
I think I did a pair of socks in that amount of time once.
That's fair. Socks are a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even manage my last hat in that amount of time.
Oh no.
That hat was cursed though. I kept screwing it up.
Oh jeez.
It wasn't even hard. I kept screwing it up.
I don't know about you, ma'am.
I know. I don't know about me either.
All right. I think that was it for my woolly gathering.
Yep. Literature. I finished Measure What Matters, and I hate it distinctly less than I did last week.
Which doesn't mean she liked it.
Does not mean I liked it, but it definitely grew on me.
She just no longer despises it. Like, what?
It's a very backhanded compliment. I don't hate it as much as I used to.
That is such a backhanded compliment. Oh my gosh.
I think that if you are in any sort of management position,
it's a good book to read.
You will probably get a lot more out of it than I did. I manage no one but myself, and it was kind of interesting, but so much of it was not applicable in my life because I don't manage other people. But that's just me. If you manage even one other person, then, OKRs, objectives and key results, might be a thing that you're interested in.
Nope. My dad has given me way too many of those types of books to read. I'm done.
Maybe you should recommend that one to your dad, because it seems right up his alley.
No, I want him to start reading other things.
But this one's a mere 300 pages.
They're never terribly long. That doesn't mean I want to read more of them. Heck, I would be happy if he just got into the ones with the titles you can't say on a G-rated podcast. I've read those too.
Yes, words that begin with F and rhyme with muck.
Yep. Hey, listen, they're no nonsense, and there's not a lot of hand-holding inspirational quote sayings, which is really what turns me off about books that are designed to sort of help process information or help you improve a skill set. I cannot stand that stuff. It is very much not for me, so
fair enough.
It tends to really turn me off the books. Hey, I understand about myself. That's what you like to read. Go for it.
I honestly only read it because like half my company read it, and I felt like I should probably read it too. I was peer pressured.
You were peer pressured?
I was peer pressured. That's how it happened.
Was that peer pressure into things that are fun and exciting?
Yes.
Got it.
Like starting more knitting projects.
Always starting more knitting projects. Don't get me wrong, I want you to finish them too. I just like bugging you about it.
What have you been reading this week?
I fell down a rabbit hole, as I do. Didn't really work on any of the books that I was going to work on, and instead I listened to, almost entirely finished re-listening to The Gathering of Storms by V.E. Schwab.
Didn't I just link that one a couple weeks ago?
It did, because I listened to it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm re-listening to it, and I've been making some notes and stuff. And then we had a discussion point come out in the role-playing game that we're sort of designing.
Right.
So I went back to the book to sort of re-listen to make sure that we had the information right. So, and then once I'm in it, that's my favorite. And very rarely is it the Thor in a trilogy is my favorite, because those usually aren't that great. Trilogy always sort of like peters out and you're like, that could have been better. It was good, but it could have been better. Of all the trilogies I've read, there's maybe a handful of ones where I go, yes. That ended really well. I like how that ended. I liked how that build-up played out. And I wasn't like, I was missing something at the end. So, I couldn't stop once I'd started.
Well, of course not.
Of course not. And of course, what was the other one I got like a bit into, and I still have like 12 hours or something to listen to. These are all on Audible, guys. I do a lot of work in the week, so then I think I listened to
Stay awake.
30-40 minutes of the Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Anyway, instead of having 45 hours, I have 44 hours and 30 minutes or something.
Just keep chipping away. It'll go away eventually.
What I have to do is, because it's a bigger series, is I've got to give it a solid 4 or 5 hours to get into the story.
Mm.
And then I'm hooked and I'll be in it. But because it's a bigger book, it's a bigger series, it's a bit of a slow burn. They don't sort of dump you in, which tends to be the way big world building epics go.
Mm.
It takes you a while to have enough of the world established that you're committed to the characters that are going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
That was me this week. I also, let's be honest, I found a new podcast for visually impaired people called Blind Abilities, and I was behind on some of my other ones, so I just started listening to those and caught up on all my podcasts. And that's a thing. So crazy.
So what is that podcast about? You mentioned it before, but I didn't really ask what it was about.
Oh, Blind Abilities?
Yeah.
It is, technically it's a tech show for technologies and services that visually impaired or blind people would use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's the same up there with the AMI, which is Double Tap Canada. And that's another blind tech podcast. So it's people in the tech industry who also are visually impaired or blind who also use accessibility technologies.
Was that the second one you mentioned?
Double Tap Canada.
Double Tap Canada.
Yeah.
These will be linked in the show notes now.
Yeah, so they're, like, if you ever wonder, like, where I learn about new accessibility technologies, it's from them. Where I get my reviews from, it's from these guys and girls. Because they use the technology. And then it helps me sort of decide what I want to try and not want to try, and I can listen to them go through beta processes and stuff without having to also commit to the hoopla that is beta processing.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, you get the rants. Diana's been on the receiving end of some of my rants about technology and accessibility.
Oh, yeah.
They're only going to get worse as I continue to go blind.
I have started making my own rants.
Because
at other people.
They're
about
aggravating.
Technology and accessibility.
They're aggravating.
It's not that hard, people. Just, like,
one of the
notice.
What was it? Amazon Prime Day was just a while ago. Like the Amazon Prime Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were talking about how absolutely inaccessible Amazon Prime apps are. And they're right. So I think this one guy was saying he was trying to do some shopping on his mobile device, and you have the Amazon app for it. But you couldn't change the size or color of the shirt you were ordering. So if you're using an accessibility app for the visually impaired, you're only allowed to be one size.
Right.
If you're on the phone. If you're on the computer, it's fine. So it's just the inconsistencies between technologies. When you're doing things and they'll be like, you can do it, but on your accessibility thing, when you do your double, you have to use both your fingers to navigate on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
When you do your 2-finger flick up to indicate that you want to pull up the drop menu or pull down the drop menu, a lot of them don't activate when you turn your voice activation on. They're like, nope, you don't get the choice. So you can tap here all you want. You're not allowed to log in. But it's an accessibility thing. I'm like, oh my god.
Great.
No, so I like having the heads up, knowing that that's how that works, and that's what that is. So it's like, oh my gosh. Nope. Buckets of no, guys. So that's where I learned about the Sonova thing, which was the watch that does the vibrating.
Right.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of nifty. So I want to take a closer into that, because that's where I learned about the Bose headphones and the augmented reality glasses that they're doing to work in conjunction, so that the glasses would see and then it would describe what it's seeing into your ears.
Ah.
Yeah. So like that's where I learn about those sorts of things is podcasts like that.
All right.
Listen, I also listen to ologies and learn about Bleach, okay?
Yep. I have to link ologies.
People should be listening to ologies.
It's another podcast?
I'm going to point at the screen emphatically.
Okay.
Listen to ologies. It's Loigies. Ologies. Follow the link Diana gives you because I can't spell worth a darn.
It will be linked in the show notes.
And what this lady does is she asks really smart people really stupid questions. Her words, not mine.
It's a good description.
But that's what she does. She does phone interviews or in-person interviews with people who are experts in very specific fields. Like, she doesn't do psychology, she does schizophrenia. Like, she really narrows parameters on the fields.
Wasn't there one about like mushrooms or something?
There was one specifically about mushrooms. She did a two-parter literally on the Constitution of America, the Bill of Rights. She did one with a guy whose life is bleach. He's a disinfectologist. That's what he does. He works for Clorox and his life is bleach.
Huh.
And he's a chemist.
That's
So
super
cool.
specific.
And it's so cool because they know so much about this one very narrow topic, as you do when you're a highly educated person.
It's
You know a
amazing
lot
how interesting something gets when you dive so deep into
about
it.
a very small thing.
Stuff
And
gets
she
so
just-
interesting
She
under a
gets
microscope.
to ask those questions that are just fascinating because you can. And she was probably like, can I ask you the dumb question? And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Because so few of us are okay asking that. I'm just like, oh, and it's always so cool. Like, I didn't know bleach was essentially salt and electrified water. I had no idea what made bleach. I had no idea that's what it was. It's table salt and water with electricity.
Huh.
It's essentially what bleach is.
But the addition of electricity somehow makes it into something you really don't want to drink?
Yes. But you can also use bleach to clean water on the fly if you're camping. And it kills everything. It doesn't care what you are. Bacterial, viral, it doesn't care. It kills you dead.
Huh. Including humans if you drink enough of it.
Where vinegar does not. How did I know? I fell right down that rabbit hole.
Never really thought about it.
Diana gets all these sorts of weird podcasts for me. Now, I will probably, unless you guys really specifically want me to, I'll link you my favorite history ones. But I'm head deep into history, so I like the long lists of names where we're talking about ancient Sumerian kings and all we have is an estimated arrival and an estimated leaving date and an estimated what they did while they were there based off of 2 sections of paragraph on a wall somewhere. I'm fascinated with that sort of stuff, which is not everyone's cup of tea. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. I can also talk babies, marriage, husbands, and house ownership. And I have only done one of the 4 of those. And it wasn't married or babies. Or, married, babies, husbands, haven't done those. But I have owned a house.
I have also only done, well, I guess 2 if married and husbands are different categories.
For some reason they seem to be. I'm not sure how that works. Pets. That's another good one. Books, obviously. But yeah, if you guys want a list of podcasts that I absolutely love and I have a highly curated list, let me know. I have no problems sharing that information with you guys. Now that I've dropped 3 on your head, 2 of which you're probably not interested in. And that's okay.
I think that just leaves us with events.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Got the Across the Prairies.
Yeah.
Wait, let's back up. Hang on. Stash Dash started on May
good memory
24th.
call. Yes, it did. Do you remember when it ends?
August 24th. That is hosted by the Knit Girls podcast.
Yes, it is. 3 L's.
Yes. The object of that is to compete against yourself to finish as many meters worth of yarn as you can.
Yep, Roonies.
So lots of finished objects, or several, or a few very large finished objects. Or I believe you also get to count individual plies of spinning this year.
And last year too.
And last year too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not mending though.
No, not mending. Or just weaving in ends. And what you get to count isn't just the meters that you've completed this year, it's the meters of the entire project.
Yes. So even if you only had like 2 more rows of a massive blanket. As long as you finish those 2 rows, you get to count the entire blanket.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool.
It is. I enjoy it every year. It's a personal challenge thing. It's why you guys see all of my old projects come out during the summertime, and you see me finish so much in the summer because I just use it as an opportunity to help clean up my needles before the fall, when all of the really big fall festivals happen and I start 50 million projects.
Also, all of the really great fall and winter magazines come out.
And I start 50 million projects.
Yeah, with all of the new yarn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how that works, guys.
So I'm trying so hard to get the fade done because that's a 5, 6, 7 skein.
Yeah, the Find Your Fade's like 7 skeins. Yeah. It's
not full skeins though, so it and probably winds up being about 5. So,
yeah,
you know.
Roughly, I think. Yeah, about 5.
Counts for a lot if I get this done.
It does. I have faith. I know you'll get it done.
But will I get it done before the 24th? I probably will, actually.
If you're committed to it, yeah.
This is my last big color. I'll need like 20 grams of one other color after this one and it's done.
My only recommendation is it's not your travel knit because it's huge.
It is a bit large. It's a little bit warm actually right now. Anyway, other things that just wrapped up. Tour de Fleece finished
Sunday,
which was yesterday for us.
I was short one of my goals. One of my final goals was to finally get stuff on my, oh heaven, bobbin. And I just missed because I went to sleep instead. I was tired.
It's fine. I touched nothing related to spinning the entire time. I don't think I even touched fiber.
Well done.
Yep. But I'm making great progress on my knits.
My goal was to get comfortable with everything, put the final pieces together, and I've got it figured out where I'm getting my pickup wrong when I first start drafting. So I'm right on mark for what I want it to be.
Excellent.
It was just going to be bonus if I got to actually spinning fiber, but I wanted to have it split, sorted, prepped. Like those were my goals this year, and to truly be comfortable with my wheel. And I am. So I'm very happy.
Excellent. Other ongoing things, the Across the Prairies Cal started on July 1st.
It did.
And goes till the end of September, which I believe has 30 days.
30
days has September, April, June, and November.
All the rest of 31 except for February?
Yes.
Got it. Guys, we do this limerick, rhyme.
Yes.
Every time we have to think of the end of a month thing, and then we also check our phones.
The trick I learned was if you count the knuckles on your hand, so when it's up, it's 31 days, and when it's down, it's 30 days, except in February where it's 28 days. But then that even gets, because then you go January, February, March, April, May, June. Then July and August both have 31 days because they're on the ends of your hand.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember. Some teacher taught me that in like grade 2 or something.
We're always wrong half the time. Is what it works out to be. We're wrong half the time, every time.
We're always wrong half the time, every time?
Always wrong half the time, every time.
Perfect. I don't know what the accuracy on that is.
I have a degree in history. Math isn't my thing.
So we were running that, the Across the Prairies Cal, in conjunction with Cozy Up Knits.
Yep.
The other 2 ladies that are in Manitoba,
yep,
whose podcast name I cannot for the life of me think of right now, and I feel bad because we say this every week.
A Tale of Two Knitters.
Thank you. I knew it had T's.
Got it. Got it.
There's another one that has F's. Remember how I was saying earlier, sometimes I can't think of the word. That's
Feather Stitches?
Yeah.
There we go.
I wanted to say Fiber Friends for some reason, and I knew that wasn't it.
You should see. Okay, so Feather Stitches and Cozy Up Knits are one of the ladies in each of this podcast is Damie and Hannah. I've gone and forgotten. Oh wait, they're doing the jig shawl.
Okay.
Ah, it's so pretty. They're like, what? Okay, I love the doodler, and that's the one I'm working on. But the jig shawl, what an amazing stash buster. They picked such a good shawl pattern. I totally don't blame Jamie at all for going, that one, I'm doing that one instead. Thoroughly tempted as well. But I want a Halloween shawl this year, so I'm going to finish my doodler.
That's things that's just wrapped up or are ongoing, yes?
Yes, yeah, everything. And then I'm doing the Fiber Friends self striping sock knit along. which also runs to the end of September.
All right. And then in September, we have the Manitoba Fiber Festival.
We do.
Which is the weekend in the middle of the month that
Yes,
I don't remember the exact dates of, but it's like the 13th, 3rd, and 14th, or 15th.
It's going to be that because I think it's like the following weekend I have an invite to go to the Edmonton Fan Expo.
Sure.
And that's at the tail end of the teens. And if I do that, then I'd be home for a weekend, then I'd be gone to Knit City.
And then she's off to Knit City at the beginning of October.
Hopefully we're dragging Diana with us. Yeah, that's the weekend of the 4th through 8th, I believe. 8th through something. It's in the single digits, you guys. It's the weekend before Thanksgiving in Canada. That's how I remember when it is. With luck, Diana's got just enough leftover time that she can jump out of work Friday and join us.
We shall see. Because I've currently used up all of my holiday time again, including all of my personal days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, if you wanted to fly out Friday evening and fly home Sunday, you totally could.
Could.
I don't know for sure when we're leaving and when we're coming back because that's dependent on Terry's school schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll figure it out closer to.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff's up in there. The hotel room is booked. How we fly out there, haven't decided yet. We'll get there.
Probably should do that soon so the flights are cheaper.
It doesn't really super much matter if I book all three of us at once.
Oh, that's true.
We're still saving on the one ticket.
This is true.
Yeah.
All right. I believe that's all the events.
For the moment, of course, we've got other stuff that'll pop up and creep in because that's how Jocelyn's life works.
Uh-huh.
Whatever, I'm comfortable with my existence.
That's good.
That's good, she says.
I don't know. What else am I supposed to...
I don't know what else you're supposed to say, but I'm at the end of the row, so let's call her done.
All right. I'm also at the end of a row.
So I'll say until next week, I am Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit. This thing is huge.
So's mine.
Gosh. Okay, one of us needs to take the shawl off her face and go hit the stop button.
No.
I can't see the stop button. Why do you think it would be me?
No, my yarn's running away.